All right, so I figured I would just go right back at it and try to get through the rest of these books. I break it up into separate videos. Like I said, because I can't imagine anybody wanting to watch however long this is going to take all in one sitting. And so again, this is like I said, in the previous video, I had kind of taken a time out and kind of purchased again this summer. So this is all stuff I had gotten over the summer. Like I said, due to many different reasons, higher dollar books I've kind of stayed away from. So most of what you're gonna see here is the dollar bin variety. I don't know. I've had a renewed thing for Spider-Man. That's what led me to get this Avengers 11 early Spider-Man crossover. I like just the different coloring of Spider-Man on this cover. I went to see a friend selling at a convention, and my girlfriend actually grabbed that for me for my birthday. And then this Batman 171. I just, this is the first Silver Age Riddler. Batman DC is kind of like where it's at for me. In the previous video, I had mentioned that I like Justice League Dark, but Batman is better than Superman, let's face it, and Batman is kind of DC. So a lot of my DC books tend to be Batman books or Batman related. With this pink, it's a really tough cover. This has got some wear and tear, and there's something down here that I don't believe has a shot of being cleaned off. But whatever, like this, and what is it? 181, the first Poison Ivy, that red cover, that centerfold, like I just can't, or I guess I'm not willing to pay for a really nice copy. But so I have this now, that makes me happy. This is a book I picked up at this was at like an antique, like a 4-story old mill building antique shop. And I believe it's the first My Hero Academia, and also the first One Punch Man. You can see I picked it up for $3. That was a steal. Here we have New Warriors #2. This is the first appearance of Midnight's Fire, and also his sister Silhouette. This was at my most frequented shop. I haven't been there a lot lately at all. They actually called me one time to see if I was still alive. But a Beast Hulk battle. I think I paid $15 for it. I'm not even sure that I should have, but that's something. Whatever. I just want it for me. So if it wasn't a great buy, I'll live with that. All right, here's another issue of Squadron Supreme #1. That's their first solo title. This is 52 week 9. I believe that's the first like Kate Kane cameo. Kazar #16. No real reason that I bought it. Again, we're mainly in dollar books. This is what is that? The first Crush cameo. I have no idea if it sells, if it goes for anything. Miss Marvel 19, I believe that's the first Discord. Ares #1, I believe that's the first solo Ares. And these, that was 50 cents, this was 50 cents. Sentry #2, I'm assuming his second appearance. I don't know that for a fact. Another New Warriors #2, Midnight's Fire and Silhouette. They both characters were recently relevant, I think, due to the Champions and Ironheart. That's how they wound up on my radar. I think people make a bigger deal of Silhouette. But personally, I think Midnight's Fire is the better character out of the two. This is the Excalibur No Number. It's the first team appearance of Excalibur. And again, just a dollar pickup. So here we have Invaders #12, the first appearance of Spitfire. And this is, into a lot of the same Marvel monsters type idea. She's a good vampire, and with Blade coming and all of that, like I feel like they'll need more than one vampire once they acknowledge that there are vampires. This is Invaders #7. That's the first Baron Blood. It's also the first Union Jack. I tend to like #8 for Union Jack. It's the first, I think it's like Farnsworth family, her character included. It's all of their first appearance. But obviously it's not until 11, at the end of 11, she becomes a vampire, and that's her first full. And then, so again, more X-Men. So this is Rogue #1. It's the newsstand. I honestly don't see these nearly as much as I see like the Gambits and whatnot. But I clearly have a thing for newsstand copies. So this is Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows #13. This was Spider-Lane. I don't know. She had a few name changes, but regardless, it's Peter Parker and Mary Ann's daughter, who also has spider powers, and this is the first time she isn't a child. This would be like, her first adult appearance. Here we have Bullseye #1. Whatever, I don't know. There's some Knives Gang. I can't even remember. There's some first appearance in it. But it was cheap. So Johnny Quest #1. The Johnny Quest #1 that you'd want to have goes for quite a bit. And again, I saw this for like $1. Figured I'd grab it. Runaways number 3. This is an origin story and the first appearance of Old Lace, the dinosaur. I know a couple of years ago when I was researching, I know Runaways already had that show, whatever that was. It might have been Hulu or something of that nature. But these characters seem pretty solid. I think 2003 they came out, and they don't seem to be going anywhere. And the I can't think of her name, but the magic girl who's she's a teacher at the Strange Academy, and to me she seems to be the strongest out of all the characters. For investment purposes, obviously it's issue number 1 for all of them, but what is it, Nico Minora or something, I believe her name is. That she's the main reason that I decided to start purchasing the number 1s. Star Slayer number 10, the first Grimjack. And I believe, I don't know, something was announced for that. Like I said, I spent $3 on that. I'm thinking with a press, it's like a 9.6. I'm not as plugged in as I was, so whatever. The show might not be happening. I have no idea. Here's X Factor 23. That's the Archangel cameo. Ball and Chain number 1 for $1. That's whatever The Rock had signed on to do a movie. Who knows if that happens. Another Invaders 12, the first Spitfire. That was a $10 copy. Captain America 193, the first Mad Bomb for $1. 194 for $1. Thor 209. The first Druid, that I paid like $10 for. I'm not exactly sure why I wanted it, but obviously I wanted it and purchased it, so there it is. The character, I'd say the character doesn't have a ton of significance, doesn't have a ton of appearances. I'll tend to look at appearances to, the more appearances someone has, obviously the more the company likes them, the more source material there is. So it's kind of like a proxy for popularity or how much the character is being pushed by the company. So Guardians of the Galaxy number 5, I think that's the first full Angela in the Marvel Universe. I paid $10 for that. That's definitely a near mint copy. Alpha Flight 33. That I paid $10 for. That one's a 9.8 candidate. The first appearance of Lady Deathstrike. A ragged copy of Thor 133. First Ego, the Living Planet. Astonishing Tales 25. It's a pretty, let's call it dingy copy. But I've been working with I've experimented with some techniques that kind of brighten a cover. I think he had 75 on this and like 25 on that, and gave them both to me for 50. And if I can do what I think I can do with that copy, I think it'll turn out to be a pretty good purchase. Logan's Run #1 for $1. John Carter 11, Deja Thoris Origin Story, bondage cover. I think it's Frank Miller art, for $1. This is one of those books that, I'm able to find cheap enough in shops that you can kind of constantly pick them up and resell them. World's Finest 252. I believe this is the Poison Ivy origin. Let me just double check that. Yeah, it's the origin of Poison Ivy. Paid $3 for that. That's more than I thought I paid for that, but Hero for Hire #4, I believe that was also $3. Here's Invaders #11. This is where she becomes Spitfire. I believe it's like the last page. That was, let's see, that was $5. Mr. Miracle #15. That's the first Shiloh Norman, I believe his name is. He becomes, what is it, like maybe the third Mr. Miracle. He's the current one. That was $5. Flash issue for $1, $2.30. No real reason that I bought it, but I did. Power Man Iron Fist #58. The first Eagle, however you say it in Spanish. He just appeared in something and had a little flash in the pan, but I'm sure that's well gone, but whatever, for $1, it's a decent copy. Grendel #1, that's the first appearance of that female. Grendel, Tales of the Teen Titans, $44. Now this copy I picked up, this was in a thrift store. And I think, honestly, I think they had $10 on it. Then when he rang me out for everything, I remember thinking that there was no way that he had charged me $10. I think he might have only charged me the $1 and forgot the 0. Either way, $1 or $10, I'm buying it. Second appearance of Moonstone. That was $1 book. Yeah, it looks like a lot of these books, there's still a heavy amount of $1 books, but it kind of bounces around a little more. Another Marvel Premiere, $35. 42 just a Tigra issue, no real, nothing really going on in it. But I believe her character appeared in the Hawkeye show, or at least was mentioned in it. So she might wind up appearing. Paladin, I don't know why I got that. I know for a while people were calling that a first appearance, but I think it's actually in Daredevil. This is Infinity Inc. number 14. This is another one of those comics that I always pick up and then I sell it and pick up another one. I think it's McFarlane's first cover with like a mainstream, with DC or Marvel. That was $1. Avengers 260, first cover of Nebula. I guess I paid $8 for it. Not sure why I felt like doing that day, but apparently I did. Now these are some books I picked up at a antique store. Daredevil 254, the first Typhoid Mary. That I picked up for $12. Blackheart 270 for $15. I don't know, that book kind of just eluded me for a while. And then with them I hit another Captain America run. None of these are first Demolition Man. None of these are huge books. But the prices were right, so I grabbed them. What is this? I believe that's the first Amanda Waller. For $1 at the antique store, why not? And I guess they're doing a spin-off on HBO from the Peacemaker show. The Peacemaker show I really liked. Here's Alpha Flight number 51. That was $1. It could use some cleaning up. This, for me, is a kind of tough book to find. It's a tough book to find at a price I want to pay. I've seen people ask a lot online. It doesn't really go for that much, but it's the first Jim Lee work at Marvel. Legends number 3, the first new Suicide Squad. Infinity Crisis number 5. So that's the first Blue Beetle, right? Jimmy Reyes, is that his name? That should have already been listed. So McFarlane Detective, just the year 2 storyline. These were $7 a piece. Nova 6, the first Sphinx. Strange Tales 128. That I paid $36 for. This was kind of like an impulse buy off of eBay. I don't know. I like the Scarlet Witch. I like Doctor Strange. Just kind of bought it. Tomb of Dracula, number 12, the second appearance of Blade. Was $20 for this copy. It's a nice, upper mid-grade copy. I think I had wound up with a bunch of these. Before it was announced, I bought a few Tomb of Dracula 10s. And then I moved on to issues like this that were still, affordable. There's like 12, 13, Then I think 19 is when he's bitten, and it's acknowledged that he's immune to vampire bites. But there was during the pandemic, some second appearances really went through the roof. Like this and Moon Knight's second appearance, were selling for like way too much. I didn't know if second appearances gaining ground on first appearances was going to be a thing that stuck. But it kind of made me take note of second appearances a little more, where first appearances kind of go out of reach of some people. Superstars, DC Superstars number 11. So I think this is all reprints, but it has a new Zatanna cover, and I think it's technically her first solo. Yeah, I don't know. It's a book I really like. You could find it pretty cheap. Let's say before the pandemic. I was still able to find like a $10 copy. This one I paid $20 for. I pick them up anytime I see them reasonable. Again, I have high hopes for kind of everything Justice League Dark. Zatanna is a cool character. You figure she'll be introduced at some point, and regardless, it's either way, it's Zatanna, whether or not she gets introduced in anything or not. All right, we seem to be creeping towards that 30-minute mark, so let's put a pin in this one right here and now. And to be honest, I'm just gonna jump back into it and start with the next video. So if you guys have the appetite, you can keep going, and if not, thanks for watching.